Hey everybody, it is Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, wishing you a wonderful day wherever you are currently in the world. I hope you're well and I hope you are being very, very safe. Thank you for joining me. This has been a class a long time in the making. Now every so often, myself or Mahe will go live and we'll ask the question, what recipe do you want me to healthify? And we get some pretty awesome responses coming back, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that, that's brilliant. But one of the recipes that always turns up, and one that I have until now kind of put off, was how to healthify a sweet chili sauce. So many of you have been requesting it, so this class is for you. We are going to be making sweet chili sauce today, but of course sugar-free, like we always do. There is no gluten in our sweet chili sauce, there is no dairy in our sweet chili sauce, and this can be also created vegan friendly if you are vegan. But you know what, it's not hard to make. Once I actually got into the recipe, I was like, I should have done this before. So this is for all you wonderful people who love sweet chili sauce, and I have to tell you, I'm slightly addicted. It's really, really good. It's one of those recipes that you are going to be putting on constant repeat because it makes food taste fabulous. And you know, I always talk about how important sauces are to our healthy pantry. When you have the right sauces in your pantry, you can make food delicious in seconds. I'm talking about sticky sauce, of course. That's one of the staples, and I have a feeling that this sauce is going to be a staple for you guys as well because it's so good for us, but it's also has no nasties. So let's get into the recipe. Come on down to my bench. I'm excited. Can you tell? I'm excited. It's that good. It is that good. So this recipe, by the way, has never ever been released before. So if you'd like to go and grab yourself a pen and paper and write this recipe down, of course I will be sharing it on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen tomorrow for a PDF version. But if you want to make sweet chili sauce now, then I suggest you go grab yourself a pen and paper. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go start putting on a bit of a syrup, because there is obviously a syrup involved before we get into the chilies. Now, just a word of caution for anyone who is, maybe a little bit sensitive to chilies. Chilies can inflame the gut, so if you're sensitive to chilies, go really carefully when you are using the finished product. So the first thing I'm going to be putting into my pot, straight onto the scales, make it nice and easy. I've just got some organic apple cider vinegar. I'm using the raw, unfiltered variety because it's got, just a few more of those wonderful minerals and vitamins that are still in there. And we're going to be adding into here 150 mils of our apple cider vinegar, which is about 5.2 ounces. So that's the first one. 150 mils of ACV goes into our pot. As well as that, we're going to be adding the sweetness now. And of course, we don't add sugar. We add special stuff. So this is our zero as sugar that you guys can get through us, through Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. It is obviously 0 calories, 0 effect on the glycemic index, which means it won't spike blood glucose or raise insulin levels, really important for diabetics. But also, it has 0 laxative effect, so it won't have you running off to the bathroom, which is also important. So into here, into our water, we're going to be adding in of our 0 as sugar, 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces, goes in there. And this quantity will make about 250 mils of our sweet chili sauce. So that goes in. And because we're just going to add some prebiotic quality to it, I've got our pure as inulin, which is going to go in there as well. This is going to add, like I said, a bit of fiber. And sweet chili sauce does not normally have fiber. The unhealthy version just has lots of sugar and lots of toxic inflammatory ingredients, whereas this is the exact opposite. So 50 grams of our inulin powder goes in there, which is about 1.7 ounces of inulin. So that is good. So now we've added the fiber, but we've also added, a little bit more sweetness in there, which is great. and that prebiotic quality, which means it's going to be looking after your gut health. So give it a bit of a whisk. This is before it's gone anywhere near the cooktop. Just give it a bit of a whisk. Now, another word of caution. If you are using another inulin powder that's not ours, and I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to sell it, I'm saying this because unfortunately it is the case. Some inulin powders are not as good quality as ours, and so when it gets to this stage, you might actually find that you get like a big thick mass, which is caused by your inulin powder. So our inulin powder obviously doesn't do that. So medium heat, we're just going to bring that to a little bit of a simmer, and then we're going to start dealing with the chilies. But I had a question. Yes, Mahi?
Can you use the fiber syrup instead?
Can you use the fiber syrup in here instead? Yes, you can, but it will get a little bit thicker than what we want to. Inulin is a better option when it comes to this particular recipe. So what I have here is I have a bowl of red chilies, and you'll notice that they are dried red chilies. So you need 15 grams, which is about that much, red chilies, 15 grams, which is about half an ounce of red chilies. And what you want to do, surprisingly, is you want to actually take the seeds out. So we're going to be it's quite easy to do. You just literally snap the chili in half and then allow the seeds to drop out. So the seeds, some people like seeds in their sweet chili sauce. I particularly don't. And also, if you are wanting a well-balanced sweet chili sauce, then you want to take the seeds out, otherwise it's going to be way too spicy. And I think that's why people love sweet chili sauce so much, is it's got that wonderful balance of spicy, sweet, as well as a little bit of tartness in there. And of course, we're getting our tartness from the apple cider vinegar. So that's all you got to do to your chilies, to your dried chilies, is you need to just snap them in half and then just let the seeds drop out of them. So once you have done all of that with your chilies, you can throw those away, throw the seeds away, just discard them. Then you want to grab some boiling, just off the boil water. So bring water to the boil. Oh gosh, I don't know if we've got enough water in here. Mahi just made him a cup of tea. He used all my water before we went live. Look guys, it happens all the time. I'm always going, don't use my hot water. But he loves his green tea, so he's got a green tea. That's all right. We'll see how we go. So just off the boil water. What you want to, oh, we got enough, you're good, Mahi. You want to pour in enough water to just cover the chilies. Just cover the chilies. And the thing that I like to do with it after that, to lock in all that heat, is just add a plate on top of your bowl, and you're going to let that soak in that just off the boil water for an hour, at least an hour, minimum of 1 hour. If it's any longer, that's absolutely fine, but you want to have them soaking for at least 1 hour. They're going to start to rehydrate, and they're going to be a lot easier for us to process. So my chilies have been soaking in their lovely water, and we're just going to drain it in the sink. Drain the water, throw the water away. You see what's happening in here, by the way. We've got a bit of a bubble, which is great. So what I've done is I've brought the liquid to a simmer, and now I'm just going to let it tick away just for a couple of minutes. Just for a couple of minutes, just like that. Not too many bubbles, because you don't want it to reduce too much. But you just want it to kind of just start to tick away. I'm doing that on just below medium. Chilies are looking good, which is great. So now that that is done, we can start to work on making a bit of a paste that's going to go into our liquid. So the type of paste that we're going to be making, obviously lots of chilies in there, pretty easy to do, but I'm going to work straight onto here if I need to. I think I do need to. And what we're going to be putting into here is, firstly, we're going to be adding in some finely chopped garlic. That is going to be, the wonderful aromatics and balance. So 1 tablespoon of finely chopped garlic goes in there. Of course, there has to be some ginger as well. Once again, we're balancing. We are balancing out. So 1 tablespoon finely chopped ginger is going in there as well. We're going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or avocado oil. Not coconut oil here, because you want it to stay quite liquid. And if we add coconut oil, that's 2 tablespoons. If we add coconut oil, it might harden on us, which we want to avoid. So I'm happy with this now. It's been 2 minutes. Just going to turn it off. Leave that there. Keep on working on our paste. So we're also going to be adding some fresh chilies as well. So I've got, you know, a nice big long red fresh chili. And it's up to you guys at this point how many chilies you add. But I would suggest 1 to 2. And you know, the longer ones are not quite as they're not quite as hot as the smaller ones. So if you know your chilies, you probably already know that. I'm just getting rid of the seeds, guys. Just getting rid of the seeds.
What kind of chilies are you using?
I'm using long red chilies and dried red chilies. So I'm just getting rid of those seeds. They're going to go into the bin. And as I was saying, it's up to you how many chilies, fresh chilies you add at this point. Give them a bit of a rough chop.
Can you dry out the chilies in the air fryer?
Can you dry out your chilies in the air fryer? No, these chilies are not quite, they're dehydrated. You can dehydrate your chilies, but you don't want to dry your chilies in the air fryer because, unless you've got it, your air fryer is a dehydrator, which some people's are. So you want to, if you want to get yourself your own chilies, then from fresh and dry them out, you want to do that in a dehydrator. Alright, so that goes in there now. We're also going to add a few more bits and pieces. I'm going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of sticky sauce is going in there. I'm also going to be adding in a tablespoon of coconut aminos. So coconut aminos, if you don't have this, I'll show you what it, I know it's backwards, but that's kind of what it looks like, coconut aminos. Really delicious, is an alternative for some people for soy. It's a little bit sweet, that's why I like to add it. It all comes from coconuts. But if you don't have coconut aminos, add an extra tablespoon of sticky sauce instead of the coconut aminos. And we're also going to be adding in a tablespoon of fish sauce. Now choose a good quality fish sauce. Make sure it's got no sugar, organic if you can find it. And this company as well do a vegan fish sauce. So it's flavored with fish sauce with obviously no fish. You can buy that and you can add that here for a vegan option. So all those ingredients are in there. Let's now add in the chilies. The once we dried chilies can go in. And then we're gonna give it a bit of a blast and create that wonderful paste, which is what we're after. You can sort of see after a couple of seconds what we've got there. I'm going to keep going. It needs a bit longer. Because what you've got to bear in mind is that if the chilies are too big, you're going to have large chunks of chili through your sauce, which you kind of want to avoid. So you're going to take your time on this step. I'm going to get a spatula so I can give it a bit of a scrape down. So take your time and keep on looking at it, because it will determine, you know, what the end product is if we don't blend it enough. Yeah, looking good. Like, looking really good. Check it out. Right? So you're after that sort of consistency, which is fabulous. So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to start just literally scraping the chili into here, where a spatula becomes in really handy. Ooh, I forgot the word of caution. Another word of caution. Because you will be touching chilies, either wear gloves, makes sense, right? Wear gloves, or do not touch any part of your body. Any exposed skin, just be wary if you're not wearing gloves. Obviously, if you're wearing gloves, just dispose all those gloves after you're finished. Yeah, you don't want chili in your eyes or anything like that. So that's now in. I'm going to turn it back on. And what you want to do now is you want to bring it to a little bit of a simmer. Give it a bit of a stir. You're nearly there. It's that easy. I mean, already you can sort of see. Can you see? Look, come over here. Have a look. Can you see? There you go. Already you can kind of see that we have what resembles sweet chili sauce already. Isn't it fabulous? You can see I haven't taken out all the seeds either. How did I miss those? How did I miss all those seeds? But that's alright, as long as you don't have all the seeds in there, because it will be extremely, extremely hot. So it's just kind of like, you know, it's a bit of a balancing act. A bit of a balancing act when it comes to this sweet chili sauce. So allow it now to come up to a simmer. And just bearing in mind as well that you have, you know, the erythritol in there, the zero sugars in there, and the inulin is in there as well. So it will begin to thicken on you and get quite syrupy. Hence why fiber syrup is, it may get too thick, because that's one of the things that fiber syrup does, is it helps to give things quite a wonderful silky syrupy texture. Whereas with this, we want to leave it on the stovetop long enough that those flavors begin to combine. And if we did that with fiber syrup, we would have a big sticky mess. So inulin is definitely the way to go here, erythritol as well. And of course, you know, adding that inulin means you've now created a prebiotic, which is so incredibly good for our gut health, because our happy bugs like to feed on prebiotics, and you get that from inulin, which is so good. Yes, we got a question.
What do you use both dry and fresh chili?
Why do you use both dry and fresh chilies? Now the dry chilies tend to give us quite a good colour, and the fresh chilies just kind of finish it off quite nicely. There is definitely a difference in flavour from fresh to dried. It's a bit like fresh to dried herbs. The dried chilies give it quite a bit of body, whereas the fresh chilies give it a lovely top note. So you, once again, the whole idea about you know, this particular recipe is balancing flavors, and I worked on this recipe quite a lot, and I started off with just dried chilies, and it kind of lacked something. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to add a few fresh chilies, see how that balances out that wonderful flavor. And it did it so well. I was so impressed. I was like, yep, let's do that. I actually started off, the first time I did this recipe, I did it with all fresh chilies, and it just didn't quite have that sweet chili sauceness that we all know and love. So this way you are getting the best, literally the best of both worlds. So you want to keep it on the simmer, and you're probably doing this for, you know, maybe about sort of 3 to 5 minutes, and you're looking for it to thicken, to get a little bit thick and reduce just a little bit. Don't leave it on too long, otherwise it's going to get too thick and it's going to be really hard to spread or to, you know, to drizzle onto things. But in all, this is almost ready. I reckon we're probably about a minute away with that little simmer happening. I want to show you one that I made yesterday, and you can sort of see that it does definitely thicken up. I actually put mine in the fridge as well, but it does definitely thicken up overnight. And because I had it in the fridge, it's gone a little bit hard too. But here's one I made yesterday. I'm actually going to add that all straight into there, because I'm going to mix the two together, because this one was only yesterday. So I'm going to mix the two of those sauces together, and now I've got like a really, really big jar. Do I even have a jar? No, I don't even have a jar. I don't have a jar ready for this, but yeah, check it out. I mean, it looks, and so it should, like sweet chili sauce, which is brilliant. So let's put it, I'm going to put it in a glass bowl, so you can sort of see what we have come up with only a bit of effort. I mean, the hardest thing is waiting that hour while your chilies soak. So you can kind of see that we have a really beautiful chili sauce. Remember, this is double. Like, this is now, I've now almost doubled the recipe from yesterday. And you can see I have made chili sauce. All right, come up here. Let's talk about this. Let's discuss this. Very exciting. So this is what we have created. And I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. This sauce has been making its way into many of my dishes in the last couple of weeks because it is so incredibly fabulous. So how do you store it? Oh my god, it smells so good. It actually, I'm gonna ask Coco, does this not taste better than normal, like manufactured sweet chili sauce? I'm looking at it like, you better give me the right answer. No, she's nodding, she's too shy to say anything. But this has so many layers of flavor, which we have created by adding all those amazing ingredients. So, you know, I shouldn't say traditional, a manufactured chili sauce tends to be made with corn syrup. Corn syrup is, it is so bad for us, right? And it's made with lots and lots and lots of sugar. So corn syrup, firstly, it is derived from corn. And it is used as a very cheap alternative to sugar, would you believe? And corn syrup, it is like literally liquid sugar, and it is highly toxic to our body. It confuses our brain into, is it sugar? Do I convert it to glucose? Is it a toxin? It's quite a nasty ingredient, and they tend to be made with corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup, which is even worse. Lots of sugar, whatever other ingredients just to make up the mass, whereas you have now created something that you can be extremely proud of and extremely sure that you're able to, to add this to your food, and you're not adding any toxins or adding any inflammation or anything like that, because it's so good for you. One more waiver: if you're sensitive to chili, it might inflame you, but if you're like myself, I have, a tablespoon sprinkled onto something or drizzled onto something, and it's absolutely fine on my stomach. But the flavors, the intensity of these flavors. Okay, so once it's cooled down, you can store it in a really clean jar or in a big wide bottle, like something that's got quite a large opening, because you don't want to get it stuck in squeezy bottles because it's got lots of different chunks and stuff. And you can store that in your fridge for up to 2 months. So it lasts forever, well, not forever, but it lasts for a very, very long time as well, which is just fabulous. So there you go, guys. This is Bridget's sweet chili sauce, ready for you to go and make. I will be sharing the recipe with you all tomorrow on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. If you'd like a PDF copy sent to you, keep an eye out for it tomorrow morning. In the meantime, please continue to enjoy your day, stay safe, and we'll see you back here for another delicious cooking class back in my kitchen. Oh, we got one question before we go. Yes, Mahi.
2 questions.
Oh, 2 questions. Apologies.
How much water did you use, and how long will it last in the fridge?
Okay, so I did not use any water. There's no water in my...
From the top?
Okay, so you're talking about the chilies? How much water did I use when I soaked the chilies? You just add enough water to cover the chilies. Don't know how much that is. Depends on the size of your container as well, or your bowl. So just enough water to cover the chilies, so that they're all soaking. Don't worry about how many mils or anything like that. Doesn't matter. Just cover your chilies with just off the boil water and leave them there for an hour.
And how long will it last in the fridge?
How long will it last in the fridge? We just talked about that, mate. It will last in the fridge, provided you put it into a sterilized or very, very clean jar. Jars are definitely ideal here because it may stain plastic containers. So a sterilized jar or bottle that'll last in your fridge for a couple of months, provided you don't dip into it with a dirty spoon, which can introduce bacteria into it. So always go into it with a clean spoon if you're spooning it on. Good little tip. But it will last, store it in your fridge. It will last even longer. A month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it won't last that long, trust me. You'll be making it before the 2 months are up, I guarantee you, especially if you're like me and you absolutely love sweet chili sauce. Alright guys, enjoy today. We'll see you again back here in the kitchen in a couple of days' time. Take care. Be safe. Bye.